Hey guys, welcome back to another news video here. We're going to be covering quite a bit today. In the market right now, we have a red market. Essentially, we have Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP down from -2% to about -4%. The same with Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin SV actually pulled back about -12%. So just wanted to go ahead and cover that. Just moving right along with the news, we do have notes from the WEF, the coming battle between surveilled and private money. Davos, Switzerland, when the world's leading bankers and policymakers gathered this week at the 50th annual meeting of the World Economic Forum in Davos, their interest in blockchain technology was surroundingly clear. The number one use case of blockchain technology promoted by the government is data sharing. So right now, we have most experts at Davos appear to agree that blockchain technology should be used for more data collection, not self-sovereign finance. So we do have the technology advisor to the president of Niger that stated it will be crucial for emerging economies to use digital reporting systems to avoid embezzlement and other financial crimes. My goal is to have a paperless government by 2028. So that's big key point there to make, guys. These people are gathering here, and their big concern is to make sure that people are properly reporting their digital assets. That's really what the government really cares about. And if they can, we have this technology advisor stating that he wants a paperless government by 2028. He's thinking about how could any leader or government official take that money without being noticed. Cryptocurrency brings that. Through the blockchain, you know where things are. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Not only are they just thinking about potentially tax evaders and all that good stuff, they're just trying to keep corruption probably out of the government, as we've seen with some countries. So we're going to be looking at a story later on today on just what happens when we have so much money corruption and where countries can fall into. So pretty interesting, just to make note of that. A lot of the information resounding in this article is actually just regarding the KYC methods that they want to implement and all that good stuff to know who's handling what money. So that's going to be it for this one. Let's carry on to the next. We have HyperLedger to explore how blockchain can help world meet climate goals. So essentially, they're going to be looking for ways to keep an accounting system of what's going on with the climate and who's essentially acting against the better health of the planet itself. So they want to track emissions, identify problems in these areas, and coordinate solutions. So this is an interesting thing to see here with blockchain, just how to keep accountable everybody that's acting within emissions and things that are hurting the environment. So it's going to be pretty cool to see and how it develops. That is all for this one. Next up, we do have sports live streamer will reward viewers with its own crypto. So the provider Sportscaster is launching its own cryptocurrency to reward viewers and encourage interactions. The company, which is backed by the NFL Players Association, announced Wednesday it has teamed with the FanWide platform for the effort. The new fan chain Fans Token will be made available on FanWide, which helps people locate local game, watch parties, and given out to people checking in to listed events. So the token is going to be earned at the thousands of sports bars on FanWide's US network and will be redeemable for cash. So it's going to be interesting, people getting together, watching sports, and being able to receive a token for that. So that's going to be pretty cool. FanWide has promoted over 1.5 million watch parties and is the official fan club network of teams in the NFL, La Liga, Rugby League, and others. This rollout represents one of the largest real-world deployments of blockchain in fandom, and we're just getting started. So it's really good to see this. This is going to help people in general that wary of cryptocurrency right now to just see how convenient and how useful it is to receive a token for doing something that you enjoy. You know, we've talked about gaming in the past, but now we're talking about watch parties for the NFL. Why is this interesting? Well, because the NFL could probably get involved with this new token, and what they're seeing is, hey, these people are incentivized to watch our games together. Let's go ahead and support this project. You know, so it's just that kind of interaction where we're taking out the middleman and we're getting a little bit out of it, and that's what tokens are providing in the space. So fans can also be sent from any Ethereum wallet, and the token is ERC20 standard compliant. The supply has been capped at 600 million tokens. That's going to be interesting to watch, guys. I would definitely keep an eye on this to see how the project pans out, but it sounds very interesting, so I wanted to bring that to you guys. Next up, we have digital asset manager Grayscale to fund future development of Ethereum Classic. As of today, January 22nd, Grayscale's Ethereum Classic Trust has announced its financial commitment to fund further development of the Ethereum Classic blockchain over the course of the next 2 years. So that's going to be a huge commitment. That's going to be interesting for anybody that is invested with Ethereum Classic, just to be able to see some funds for development and getting more developers involved. So right now we do have Grayscale is one of the largest investors in ETC, holding an estimated 14% of the total supply of ETC coins. So that's important to watch as this coin gets developed, fleshed out, and if it does move in price, it's important to know who are the bigger holders and who can really pull where the project is headed from the back end. So good for you guys to know that information, and congratulations to anybody that's still a firm believer on Ethereum Classic. Next up, we have Hong Kong and Thailand's central banks closer to issuing their own cryptocurrency. So basically here, they did state that they have a project named Inthenon Lion Rock is technically feasible and will utilize the blockchain tech to make cross-border settlements more transparent and cheaper with reduced risks. So the Hong Kong Monetary Authority did state that their payment systems were efficient within the country, but when it comes to cross-border settlements, it is inefficient. So again, countries just looking for different ways to make these settlements cheaper for everyone and more transparent and faster. So although the banks did not give a time frame that they will launch and start using their upcoming CBDC for real transactions, they plan to continue working on the joint project. So that's the same efforts that we've pretty much heard before for other countries. So they're just going for it. Now we have next up TRX Mortgage lending platform now available to public on Tron's Nile testnet. So I figured I'd just cover this news because it's going to be a decentralized borrowing platform named D-Loan. The project is decentralized TRX Mortgage and it's established on Tron, of course. It's going to leverage a stable coin that's going to be named CRD, and it's pegged at $1. The difference between USDT and CRD is that they're stating that CRD is purely decentralized. In the future, it will be used to purchase digital assets such as BTC and ETH. They do give a small disclaimer at the bottom stating that D-Loan, CRD, and D-Loan are subject to be changed in the future. So if you get involved with this in the testnet, if it looks great, awesome. But I would just state that, be wary. I always look at these projects where there's borrowing and lending. I think they're going to be a big thing in this space, but I'm definitely worried because we've seen how projects with lending platforms have damaged the image of cryptocurrency, especially within the 2018, 2017 years. So I wish the best for this platform if it's legit. So yeah, let's keep on going. Next up, we do have Everest Group Enterprise Managed Blockchain Analysis places IBM and Microsoft at the summit. So Right here, we do have a chart that's assessing the capability, maturity, and market adoption of different companies that are working to get their blockchain services up and running and to be, better than other services. So right now we do have IBM and Microsoft Azure being the top two right now. So they're the designated leaders. We do have Oracle, SAP, Alibaba Cloud, and Amazon Web Services also up there. And then we do have some other projects or companies, that are also in the space, but have to mature a bit more or get more market adoption. Just keep in mind, if you are interested in any of these smaller companies, this might be good information to keep you keep a good outlook on the future and where these companies can go. Obviously, we know that Amazon doesn't want to be left behind. Alibaba, it's good to see them there. That's also very good to see, one from the US, one from China, but then we have IBM and Microsoft leading. So basically, IBM scored full marks on platform configuration and ecosystem, ease of adoption, enterprise adoption, and business value. The only other vendor to score full marks was Azure, Envision, and Strategy. The only segment IBM failed to get a full house and ease of adoption. So these 12 vendors, they're working to stay at the lead. They want to grow in this space, and we should keep an eye on them to see what they bring. Next up, we do have Canadian government chooses MavenNet to develop on-chain steel tracking platform. So another use case here for blockchain. Toronto-based blockchain startup has announced that the Canadian government is signed a contract to develop an on-chain steel tracking platform. That's going to be interesting to see how that's going to play out. As per the contract, MavenNet will be aiming to build a blockchain proof of concept prototype. So it's still just essentially an idea, and they have to create a prototype that will be able to track and share real-time data across the supply chain in the Canadian steel industry. So we've seen how IBM has been using this for farmers, right? They have their own supply chain, and that's pretty cool. And then we now are seeing other supply chains that can probably work, and how other companies are interested in doing that. In November 2019, we also had Walmart Canada announce the introduction of a blockchain-based freight and payment network, which made use of DLT Labs' supply chain platform DL Asset Track. The network played an important role in tracking deliveries, verify transactions, and also automate payments and reconciliation among Walmart Canada and its carriers. The network helped to manage, integrate, and synchronize all the supply chain and logistics data in real time. So that's taking place over in Walmart Canada, and it would be good to probably see that across the world. So good work on Walmart's part, and I'm excited to see how this steel tracking platform is going to play out. Next up, we do have Brickmark makes token-based high-profile commercial property purchase in Zurich. So the only big piece here is just that the CEO of Brickmark said, "We are breaking new ground for the real estate industry. There has never been a token-based real estate transaction of this magnitude." It went for 103 million euros over the CHF token, 130 million of those. So we are implementing what was once no more than a concept in the real estate industry. So it's just good to see this fleshed out here in 2020. I think it's pretty impressive that it was this amount of money, and I want to see how that's going to keep playing out in the future. So that'll be interesting. Next up, we do have LinkedIn is ranking blockchain as the number one technology skill companies need in 2020. So if you're a developer and you're not, you haven't really dived into blockchain, maybe it might be a good time to start doing so, especially with the announcement that LinkedIn has made. So the company outlined its top soft and hard skills required in 2020, and it has put blockchain ahead of cloud computing and analytical reasoning in the latter category, having only made the top 10 for the first time. So that's going to be pretty interesting to keep seeing. I think blockchain is only going to develop into a more important technology as we keep going. Some people are calling it the most important piece of tech in the century. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out, but I figured I'd let you guys know on that. Next up, we do have, according to recent data from BitNodes, 2020 has brought a large new movement of anonymity within Bitcoin nodes, many of which went anonymous thanks to the Tor network. So the change here was an increase from 2.1% to 19.7%, which is the largest contribution that the Tor network has ever had. This is making these nodes anonymous to run, and it's interesting to see how in the first 2 weeks of January, we've had such a huge increase in those nodes. With setting up a new node usually being difficult to do in a way that allows everyone to see it, Tor is capable of solving the issue by routing around it. Of course, with the worry that governments have regarding anonymity and stuff like that, and honestly, some people in the world think that people shouldn't be financing themselves, like they shouldn't be keeping their own money, let's say, under a mattress, right? Everybody's accustomed to having a bank account and having some form of accountability. So as the number of the Tor utilizing nodes is surging, the number of those using IPv4 and IPv6 seems to be dropping, indicating that the users may be relocating to Tor permanently. So that's going to be interesting to see. These countries that started going, the users that were in countries like Germany, France, and Netherlands saw a decrease in the presence of their nodes. So that might indicate that those nodes became anonymous. The growing number of nodes is generally a good thing for the Bitcoin network. Not only does it signal growth and interest and adoption, but it also makes the network more resistant to 51% attacks. Bitcoin has also seen a massive surge in hash rate recently, which currently sits at 126 quintillion hashes per second, as opposed to last year's 36 quintillion. So obviously the hash rate is pretty high up there. The only thing that we haven't really seen for Bitcoin is major price growth. But I think with the halvening and how earning Bitcoin is going to be more difficult in the near future, the price has to do something. I think it has to go up. So interesting to keep a note of this information though, and that people are looking to run these nodes anonymously. So next up, we do have global finance company processing trillions in payments per year is testing Ripple's remittance network. So I've seen a lot of companies get involved with Ripple. I don't know if you guys are up to date with that, but Ripple has basically two solutions where they are speeding up cross-border payments, and it's a faster alternative to Swift. So they have Ripple's own in-house company kind of way of doing it, and then they also have the cryptocurrency XRP. So it's not specific on which one this company is using, but they are testing they're doing a lot of testing to update their software as a service model. So that's going to be interesting to see. The name of the company is Bottom Line Technologies. It's a US-based payment processing and consulting company. And yeah, another company working with Ripple. So next up, we do have Apple legend Steve Wozniak meets with Tron founder Justin Sun. The legendary co-founder of Apple, Steve Wozniak, sat down for lunch with Tron creator Justin Sun. Obviously, like Justin Sun did with Warren Buffett, he also paid for Wozniak's lunch. And right after they met, Justin Sun did announce that he is looking forward to their partnership. Again, we don't know if that's true. Justin Sun is a very interesting character on Twitter. He's been known to announce things for an announcement and continue with pre-announcements. So maybe nothing might come of this, but I figured I'd let you guys know because Wozniak is a high-profile supporter of cryptocurrency and blockchain tech. He equates Bitcoin to a digital alternative to gold and says he admires the decentralized nature of the leading cryptocurrency. So he does have some fair amount of influence, and he was actually an Apple co-founder. So it's important to keep in mind that people like this being interested in conversations with people in the cryptocurrency space is important. So next up, we do have blockchain startup Nouri raises 1.3 million to spark carbon removal revolution. So the company is working to build an Ethereum-based marketplace that creates financial incentives for the removal of excess carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So real quick, the thing that I see the most that's very impressive with this current space and the different projects that are popping up is that some projects are starting to understand why it is important to incentivize people to do X thing. And before, when IBM first got involved with the supply chain concept, it did help farmers and all that good stuff, but I'm now seeing more companies just understanding the concept of having a financial incentive. So essentially having a token that's going to be able to incentivize people to have a healthier climate and remove excess carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So it's a big thing. It did get 1.3 million to jumpstart its efforts. It's a Seattle-based blockchain startup. I am hoping the absolute best for this project. Chief Executive Paul Gamble says Nouri aims to create a decentralized mechanism that rewards businesses for capturing carbon dioxide in the air and burying it into the ground. So that's going to be pretty cool to see. It does state businesses, but who knows? Maybe stuff like this can come to people interested in this kind of space, and those people can receive payment for doing this kind of work. But for right now, the cryptocurrency would pay farmers to capture the gas by using sustainable farming techniques that promote the growth of microbes and bacteria in topsoil. The microscopic organisms pull CO2 out of the air and hold it in the ground where it won't heat the planet. So now we see farmers are becoming more and more important. And this is basically another method of payment for farmers. So that's pretty interesting. The developers chose Ethereum in part due to its plans to switch to a proof of stake model for verifying transactions. And obviously it's expected to require less energy than Bitcoin. So it's cool to see companies just noticing that and taking value, seeing the value of blockchain in promoting a healthier environment. So next up, this was a story that I was talking about when I first talked about the first article in this video. It's kind of scary to see this situation. I know it's been probably covered in other YouTube videos, but Venezuelans essentially received an airdrop that was given out. I think it was to about 6 million or 8 million people in December. And currently that petro, which is the national currency that the government fixed to a $60 value, is being sold for half on local Bitcoins. And that is because people just, at first, the government was initially allowing the usage of petro to buy products through a biometric app, but it soon shut it down, and as people flooded to the few stores that supported it. So imagine you using some cryptocurrency that your government, that is in full control of your life, just decides to create a random price for it. And then when you go to purchase products at the stores, they shut the program down. And that is absolutely insane to me. Like I couldn't, unfortunately, some people might be hearing me from other countries and they might say, wow, you have no idea. But, being that I'm not from these kinds of this country, or these kinds of countries that are currently going through stuff like this, I am just absolutely in shock. So the only option left for Venezuelans appears to be local Bitcoins. Several listings can be found that accept Petro in exchange for Bitcoin or other currencies. However, all of them appear to be currently inactive. So people were trying to sell out of Petro to get Bitcoin. And it seems that the people that were buying the Petro were trying to make a profit out of it, but they're not buying it. So these people, you know, they create a Telegram group where Venezuelans are discussing where they can exchange Petros, you know, asking the question, anyone who sells food, rice, flour, sugar, etc., and accepts Petros in Maracaibo, the second largest city in the country. So that is very, very, very scary. I wish and I hope that this gets resolved soon. I think people should have access to food, should have access to clean water. And it's insane that, you know, people are running to Bitcoin because it is the only thing that could actually give them an opportunity financially. Their country's fiat currency inflated to insane amounts, and this is the only hope they have, and that's honestly Bitcoin. It's pretty intense. So next up, we do have CZ Binance. He did retweet the news about Paxos being able to create bank deposits and stable coins and go quickly from the Pax coin to USD, and your bank account is automatically going to wire transfer USD for Pax or vice versa. So you can cash into the cryptocurrency space pretty quickly or cash out of it in USD. So very interesting to see that tweet. I think he posted it just a few minutes ago, and I wanted to give you guys that information. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to click the like button, sub to the channel. I'm going to be creating videos and keeping you guys posted on blockchain news. If you have anything, please support me down in the comments. You know, it helps the whole YouTube algorithm thing. I'm going to keep uploading as consistently as I can, and I will see you guys on the next one.